Okay, right. So this memory address register, MDR and PC, all these are registers I already said, and it's like MAR. MAR is connected to the internal processor bus. This is the internal processor bus, we can say, some cable type of thing. So it is connected to the processor in the and you can see we have a one directional unidirectional arrow. So that means from the bus the data can flow to MAR, memory address register. So generally any address sent is stored in MAR, memory address register. Okay, who will be sending this address? Something like a processor. For example, processor want to read some data from the main memory. So this is the processor architecture. This processor want to read some data from the main memory, or we can say primary memory or RAM. Where is this main memory? This is entirely, this one is processor, but where is main memory? So main memory is something like here, it will be main memory. From there the connection will be. So you can see using this address lines and data lines, the main memory is connected to this processor. So here if we assume the main memory or RAM, the data address lines from main memory connects to MAR, and the data lines from main memory, they connect to MDR. Okay, so when a processor want to read some data from the main memory, processor will send the processor will send some address. The address is stored in MAR. Later, that address is sent to the main memory, and at that address the data is fetched and it is stored in MDR, and it is taken and it is processed by ALU. Okay, this is the scenario. So you can see there is only one way the data can flow from internal processor bus to MAR, and similarly from the MR to the memory, main memory, through this address lines. Okay. Similarly, MDR, you can see there are two inputs, input 1, input 2, and also two outputs. Input, this is first output and this is another output. Two inputs and two outputs. So you can see data can flow to internal processor bus, and also data can flow from internal processor bus towards MDR also. And similarly, MDR, from MDR, you can see MDR means it's data. So data can flow from here to main memory or from main memory to MDR. That's why we have a bidirectional arrow. Okay, and we already seen this. What are this YZ temp? What is this YZ temp? Any answer? Yes. So YZ temp, these are also registers like these, like PC, MAR, MDR. These also processor internal registers YZ temp, and they are used to store some calculation results. So ALU does some calculations. The results can be stored in YZ and temp, and they are not accessible by our programmers. Okay, they are used by processor internally for storing any calculation results. Okay, right. And you can see there are at the right side multiple registers R0, R1, R2, and so on registers can be. Can anybody tell how many registers possible? These are the processor general purpose registers. So as I said in the previous classes, how many possible registers there can be? As you remember, it is from R16 to R64. That is, there may be 16 registers in one computer. Maybe it's to the power of. So maybe in some computer there may be 32 registers, or in some computer it may be 64 registers, or in future there may be many 128 registers also. Okay, so if there are 16 registers, there will be R0, R1, R2, so on. We have R15 registers. So total 15 registers possible. Okay, and what is this data path? So this bus and all these registers plus ALU we call as data path. Okay, so what data path is called? The internal bus plus all these registers, whatever registers we have, the PC, MR, MDR, R0, NMN, Y, Z, temp, all these registers plus ALU combinedly we call as a data path. Done. So the same and can anybody say what is MUX? Ma? MUX. Are you able to unmute yourself? Any problem? You can even chat. Able to unmute? Any problem with the unmute functionality? Okay, is my voice audible? CR?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So I want everyone to concentrate here. So it's like so we have many registers. It's R0 to R15 registers, and also you can see I said like MUX. We are talking about MUX, right? So this is multiplexer. It takes multiple inputs. You can see here it's taking 2 inputs, so it can take n number of inputs, and it gives one output. So here you can see it is taking constant 4 and also some data from this register Y. So from where this Y is getting the data, so actually it may be getting the data from one of the registers, maybe from R0. From R0, data flows to internal processor bus and into the Y register. From there, this multiplexer will get the data. Okay, out of these 2 inputs, the MUX may select depending on these control signals. It may based on this select signal. It's like it will select any one of these inputs. So it may select constant 4, or maybe the data from Y it may select one input. It will select and sends, and this is the send information we call as A. And here also it may get B also. The ALU may receive the B value also. From where it may receive the B, maybe from other registers, maybe R1 or R2, which travel the data from register R2 maybe travels to internal processor bus. It flows into B, and you can see A and B are available for ALU. What ALU now ALU will do? It need to do arithmetic logic operations, like it need to do addition, subtraction, and XOR and so on operations. So which operation it will select? It will be based on this control lines. So if the control line specifies add, then it adds A plus B. If control line specifies a sub, then it does A minus B and so on. Okay. And finally, you can see this output from ALU may flow in this another register Z. And finally, from Z, the data can flow to maybe some register R3 or R4 register. Okay, this is some scenario, and also we have this one also, instruction decode and control logic. So this is a component where control signals are connected from main memory. So we assume that we have main memory here. From there, control signals are connected to this instruction decode and control logic, and this is the unit which controls all the components. This is a so this unit uses the control signals and controls the entire data flow between this one. So this is the this one is the reason for transfer of data between all these components, even for the execution of the instructions. Okay, right. So the same explanation is given here. And one more thing, I said like this is the internal processor bus, and also the connections coming from main memory we call as memory bus, or we can say external bus. The connections coming from main memory, if we assume main memory here, the connections coming from main memory we call as memory bus, or we can call as external bus. Okay, so from this main memory, or we can say external bus, from these connections, address lines are connected to MAR, and data lines are connected to MDR, and you can see control signals to this one. Right. So the same explanation given here. So this figure shows the ALU and all the registers interconnected by a single common bus. This is the common bus, all the ALU and all the registers connected. Okay, and processor internal bus. So this is the processor internal bus, the one in the middle, the straight one, the arrow, bidirectional arrow, we call as a processor internal bus, a communicating interface for all the components. And also external bus. External bus is one where you can see a connection from here to main memory. We calling this connection as external bus, from where the address lines comes to MAR, data lines comes to MDR. Okay, so you can see the same thing given here. The data and address lines of external bus are shown in the figure are connected to the internal processor via MDR and MAR. So data and address lines from the main memory, they are connected to address lines to MAR and data lines to MDR. Okay, we are already seen MDR has 2 inputs and 2 outputs. Okay, right, and the processor consists of n number of registers, R0 through Rn-1, so n number of registers. And also we have other 3 registers, Y, Z and temp. Y, Z, temp, these are other registers. Okay, they are used by processor for temporary storage during calculations, maybe arithmetic or another calculation. Okay, and we also seen this is a multiplexer, we call as MUX. It selects either the output of register Y, that is it selects either the output of register Y or the constant 4. Any of these 2 inputs it selects, and it gives one output. It selects any of these 2. It may select constant 4 or it can give as output, or it can select the output of Y. The data from Y it can select and give as A. Either it can give a constant 4 as a or the data from Y has a value A. Okay, and remember the registers ALU and the interconnecting bus are collectively known as data path. Okay, we have done this one. So the control lines of the memory bus are connected. This is the important one. The control lines of memory bus are connected to the instruction decoder and control logic box. So the control lines are connected from the main memory. So from main memory, we assume here I have a main memory. From the main memory, we are getting some connections. We call this one as external bus, or we can say memory bus. So through this bus, you can see these connections. Address lines are connected to MAR, data lines are connected to MDR, and control lines are connected to this one. Control lines from the main memory are connected to this part. So this one says the control lines of the memory bus are connected to this component. The same thing it says. Okay, we are getting 3 connections: address lines, data lines. From the main memory, we are getting address lines, data lines, and also control lines. So same from main memory, as we are getting address lines and data lines, control lines. Similarly, we get the address lines, data lines, and control lines from IO devices also. Like from main memory, we are getting address, data, and control lines. Similarly, we get connections from IO device also, but we are not discussing the IO device at the moment. Okay, we are only dealing with main memory connections to the processor internal structure. Okay, so here we have some functionality of this unit. This is an important unit which controls all the other components. So description of this one is, you can see this unit, that is we are targeting this one. This unit is responsible for issuing the signals, that the signals we call as control signals, that control the operation of all the internal components of a processor and also interacting with the memory. Okay, So this unit, the same instruction decode and control logic we are referring to. This unit is responsible for executing instructions. So you can say it helps in with the help of control signals. It is responsible for executing instruction loaded in IR register. Okay. And also this decoder, that is the same unit we are referring, this one also, it generates the control signals. You can see the arrows, which is the control signals, which are needed to select the registers involved. So we may have n registers, R0 to R15. So which register we need to select? The specific task also is coordinated by this unit. So it selects one of these registers and it does the transfer of data. Okay. Right. So already I had given some assignment questions. Hope you had gone through these assignment questions and make it a habit that complete those assignment questions on the same day so that it will be easy for you. We already know this one. We had discussed all this. What is the data path and the multiplexer? Okay, these are assignment questions for the last class. And today's class, just a revision. Till now we had given is revision of a previous class because this one is important component. I had gone through once again this one. Okay, so in today's class, what we do is we will look at each of these components. We will look at, for example, this component first. In today's class, we will see how the data is transferred from these registers. We are saying like we have R0 to Rn-1 registers, like for example, 16 registers R0 to R15. Then how data is transferred from these registers, for example, register R0 to register R3. How data is transferred from R0 to R3. So in order to transfer the from data from R0 need to be traveled through this internal bus and it need to flow to R3. Okay, how this happens? So there are some signals which helps in transferring of data between these registers, maybe R0 to R3 or maybe R5 to R13. So between the registers, we will see how the data transfer happens. This is the first topic. Next, we will discuss about arithmetic logic unit, ALU, this part. So we'll see how data from R0 travels to ALU via this interface. So this part we will discuss. Okay. Next, we will discuss is MAR, MDR part. Okay. These we will discuss in today's class. So we will first take with this internal subcomponent. Next, we will discuss this ALU component, and next we will discuss about MAR, MDR, how data transferred between MAR and MDR. Okay, right. So when we take MAR, MDR, we will see how data is maybe written to main memory or read from main memory. Okay. So the to discuss all these subcomponents. As a part of those components, actually we go through these topics, these steps, each step. First we will look at how these are all the steps which shows how as a part of execution of an instruction. So first statement says how a transfer of word of data from one processor register to another processor register. So first we will see how data transfers from one register to another register, like R0 to R3. Maybe R5 to R13. So one processor to another processor we will see, and also we will see how data transfers from register to ALU, maybe R0 to ALU also. So data transfer from register and also register to ALU. And similarly, we will see how an arithmetic or logic operation, like for example, addition is done in the processor registers and how it is stored at the end. The result stored in the processor registers. So how arithmetic or logic operation is done by ALU, and finally after addition, for example, after addition, the result is stored in the register R3. That we will see. And next is how we can fetch the contents from a particular location in main memory. How data can be accessed from main memory and loaded into processor register. And finally, we will see how a data can be written to main memory. That is, for example, I have some data in processor register R3. how data from R3 can be stored in main memory. That is writing the data to the main memory from the processor register. Okay, so these are the things we will discuss in today's class. So first one we will see is how data transfers between one register to another register. That is R0 to R3 maybe. So here so in your previous diagram, for example, if you take this one, you can see I had omitted the it's the same diagram we had seen in the previous one, but thing is the upper part we had omitted. For the convenience, we had omitted the upper part. That is MAR, MDR part is removed from the previous diagram, and the bottom we have is the ALU, multiplexer, and so on we have, and the registers we have. And remember, when we say here, you can see RI. The RI I can be I can be 0 to, for example, there are 16 registers in my computer. It will be, I will be from 0 to 15, that is R0 to R15 registers. So here you can see in this diagram you can assume here we may have R0. This is a component for R0. Next we may have R1. Next we have similar diagram for R1. We may have R2, R3, R4, R5. So one after another we may have 16 registers in this way. And for each register we have this diagram. So assume parallelly we have down the arrow, you can see we can assume we have 16 registers connected, the same diagram. Okay, so for example, this is R0. So R0 will have a one input, and you can see one output. And the square boxes we call as switch. This square box is a switch, and this RIN is a signal. So this is the RIN is the input signal, and RI out is the output signal. So I can be 0 to 15, I already said. So for the first register, assume it's R0. Second register, maybe we have another register here, R1. Next R2 register, and so on. So if for R0, this will be the switch. These are the two square boxes are the switches, and RIN is the input signal. What is the input signal purpose? If RIN is 1, then data can flow from internal processor bus to the R0 register. Let me repeat once again. So this RIN is then signal. It's an input signal because it's I will say assume has 0. R0 because this is the R0 register. So R0 IN. So it says input signal. So if this input signal is 1, then data can flow from internal processor bus to the R0 register. And we have other output signal also, R0 out. So when this one is set to 1, then data can flow from R0 register to the internal processor bus. Okay, so let me repeat, if this is set to 1, then data can flow from internal processor bus to register R0, and if it is set to 1, then data can flow from here to from R0 register to internal processor bus. Okay, and it flows and it can go to ALU. Where it goes means it may go to ALU, and it may be part of some addition in ALU. Okay, right. So the same thing is explained in the next slide. The same diagram. We had taken only this component sub part. We had omitted the left part also. We had taken only the right part, and assuming we have R0 diagram here, next R1, R2, R3, and so on. So you can see I had taken only the right part. And we see register transfer. That is how data transfers from one register to another register, from R0 to maybe R3. So assume this is for R0. We have R0, R0, and R0 in and R0 out. So visualize yourself. We have another component, similar component like this here also. So it is for maybe for another register, maybe R1, R2 or R3, any register. Assume it's R1. So we have R1 box, rectangle box, next R1 out we have, R1 in also we have. And in this way, assume we have 16 registers down the arrow connected in this way. See, okay. So the same thing what I had told you, it is the explanation of this one. If Rn is set to 1, data on the bus are loaded into Ri. So when Rn is set to 1, the data from the bus can be loaded into R0 register. Okay. When Ri out is set to 1, then data from this one is loaded into, is placed on the bus. So you can see Ri out is set to 1, the contents of Ri are placed on the bus. Okay, and remember the square boxes are the switches. Okay, so the input and output of registers Ri, that is it may be R0, R1, R2, are connected to the bus. These registers are connected to the bus via switches, and these switches are controlled by the signals Rin and Rout. So these switches are controlled by the signals Rin and Rout. When they are 1, then they allow data to flow one way. You can see the arrow from bus to this one or here to bus. When they are 0, they do not allow the flow of data, either this one or this one, or the Rin signal or Rout signal. If they are 0, they do not allow flow of data. So when they are 1, they allow the flow of data. Okay. Okay. So here you can see when these are few steps to transfer contents of register from R1 registers to R4. What are the steps? If you want to send some data from R1 to R4, what to do? So R1 has some data that need to be R1 register has some data that need to be transferred to register R4. How the signals must be? What need to be set to 1? Okay, so assume we two registers R1 and R4. So assume here this one is R1, and similar diagram assume visualize here this one has R4. Okay, so R1 has R1 in, R1 out, and even R4 has R4 in and R4 out. Okay, right. So you can see enable the output. First, what you need to do to send R1 to R4, its output need to be enabled to set to 1. Its output need to be set to 1 so that data from R1 can be transferred to R4. So how we can enable so that data from R1 flows to R4? We need to, what is the signal? R1 out. R1 out need to be set to 1 so that now from data from register R1 can flow to internal processor bus, and then it can go to R4. But to receive data from bus, what need to be enabled at R4? Can anybody guess what signal need to be made to 1 to receive data from bus into the R4? Is it R4 in or R4 out need to be made 1 so that data from internal bus can be, yes, someone. So in order to data from sent from R1 need to be received by R4, then R4's input signal need to be, R4 in need to be made 1 so that it can receive data. The same thing explained in the next step. So you can see first is we need to make R1 out to 1 so that data from R1 can flow. Data from R1 can flow to the internal processor bus. That is, data from R1 is placed on internal processor bus. Next, the data on internal processor bus need to be transferred to R4. Then R4. So what does it mean? R4 need to receive the input, incoming input. That's right. We need to make R4 into 1. Okay. Then you are clear with this one. Okay, so only two steps. R1 out signal need to be made to set to 1 so that R1 data from R1 register flows to this bus. and next is R4 in need to be set to 1, so that data from internal processor bus is given transferred to R4. So in this way, data from R1 register to R4 transmission is done. Data from R1 flows to R4. So this one we call as register transfers. The data from register R1 to register R4. Okay, the same explanation here. Okay, so how the okay, next is performing an arithmetic or logic operations. So next we are done with the register transfers part. Right said how we transfer from register R1 to R4 we are done. Next is how how arithmetic or logic operations is done. How ALU part is done. Okay, how it gets the data A and B, from where it gets the data is the present topic. So you can see a sequence of operations to add the contents of register. So this is a task need to be done by ALU, this processor inside the processor. A sequence of operations, these are the operations to add contents of register R1 to the contents of register R2. So we need to add whatever contents in register R1, maybe 5, is added to contents of register R2, maybe 6, and we get the result is 11. When adding the contents of R1 and R2, we get is 5 plus 6 is 11. Then we will store that 11 in R3, the third register. So for doing these operations, you can see these are the instructions, machine level instruction. So you can see these are the instructions so that they turn the signals, control signals, and they do this task R1, content of R1 plus R2, and result store in R3. So you can see what this first one says, R1 out. That is register first R1 register out signal is made 1, set to 1. Then what happens? For example, this is register R1. Its signal is made out. R1 out is set to 1. What is R1 out? This one is R1 out. If it is set to 1, what happens? Data from R1 can flow and the data is placed in internal processor bus so that this can access. The data can flow to the left side. Okay. So with the R1 out, it's this when it is set to 1. So when we say R1 out, it is set to 1. So when it is set to 1, data from this register flows to this switch and it flows and placed on internal processor bus. Okay. Now data from of R1 is on this bus. Okay. How it is sent to the other side is with this one, Y in. What is Y? Y is this register Y. And what is its signal? Y in signal. This is the input signal. And here you can see this register also has a switch. And input to this register is controlled by this signal. If this signal is made 1, that is Y in is made 1. So when we say Y in, it indirectly says Y in is 1. So if we do Y in is equal to 1, then data from this bus can flow into Y. So what is the data we have on this bus? We have data from register R1 already placed in the bus. So that data flows into Y register when we say Y in is equal to 1. So now we have data in Y register. Where do we get the data? From R1 we got the data. How we got from R1 to Y? This is the instruction. R1 out means the data from R1 getting into internal processor bus. Y in means data from this bus is kept into Y because Y in is made 1. So Y in means it is already made 1 and data flows to Y. Now Y has data from R1 register with this first instruction. Next second instruction, what it is? R2 out. Where is R2? We assume if this is R1, similar diagram we have here also, which is R2. R2 has R2 in, R2 has R2 out also. So what we are doing is we are doing R2 out is equal to 1. We are setting, when you say R2 out, it means R2 out is set to 1. So in the second register also R2, when we say R2 out is equal to 1, the data from R2 register is placed into this processor bus. Because out symbol, out means from the register data flows to processor bus. But who will receive this data from R2 which is placed on this bus? Who will receive? So you can see select Y. Select Y. Okay, so that the data whatever kept from R out, that is R2 out, through this instruction R2 out, that data placed here, it flows to this one B part. From R2 out, whatever data placed on internal processor bus, it directly flows to B. Now B has some data which is received from R2 register. Okay, next is select Y. What is select Y? So this is the it is a signal for a multiplexer saying it to select any of these inputs, So what it says specifically to select Y, the value of Y. So out of these two, what are the two we have? One is constant 4 we have, other one is the data from Y. Actually, where do we get this data from Y? Actually, we got from R1 register. From R1 to Y we got the data. So we got data from Y and also constant 4. Out of these two, it says select Y. So this multiplexer will select the Y data only. The Y data where we got from R1 register. So that data is selected. That data which is stored in A. Now A has a value which we got from R1, and we have B which we got data from R2. Okay, A from R1, the data of A from R1, data from B from R2. So we have these two. So what need to do next? So we have other command is add. So add, which what says to add these two, A plus B, that is contents of R1. Indirectly we can say contents of R1 we are adding with contents of R2 we are adding 2. Then what we need to, where we need to send it? Next we are saying is Z in. So this is a signal, this is a switch, and this is a register. So for this Z register we have a switch and also Z in signal. When Z in is made 1, then data from ALU flows to Z register. Okay, so here you can see Z in is already made 1. So when we make it 1, the sum of A plus B, which is in ALU, it flows to Z, stored in. Okay, it stores in Z. The sum of A plus B, A and B, which are the sum of R1 register and R2 register, it flows because Z in is made 1. Then the sum is stored in Z. Now Z as the sum. Right? We're done with the second instruction. Okay. Right. Now Z as the resultant of A plus B in its. Okay. Because Z in is made 1. Now Z has the result. Okay. Next, where we need to send this Z value, we need to send to third register R3. Because what we have done is sum of R1 and R2, because our question is add the contents of R1 and R2 and store in R3. How do we send the value of Z, the stored in Z register into R3 register? So we need to use another signal Z out. We need to make it 1. So that's why we have in the third instruction you can see Z out. So when we are making Z out is equal to 1, that means data flows out from the register Z. Where it need to flow? It need to flow into R3 in. We are making another signal, R3 in signal to 1, so that data from Z flows to R3 register, maybe third register. Here we have similar type of structure we may have here. So we have R1 here, R2 here, R3 here. So data from R1 flows to Y, data from R2 flows to B, and finally data from the addition is done and addition flows to Z, and when we make a Z out, the data from the Z flows to R3 register. This is a scenario. So in your exam, you may be asked to write what are the instructions to do certain transaction, like add R1 plus R2 plus R3. For this one, write the set of instructions. So you need to write a set of instructions in this. That will be the your question in your exam, your external exam. Okay. Ma, shall I repeat this one? So to give a summary, you can see what is happening here. So you can see we are assuming here we have a register R1. Similar structure we assume here R2, and similar third structure we have here R3. So we have a structure R1, R2, R3. What we want to do is contents of R1 we are adding with contents of R2, and we want to store in inside R3. The result we want to store in the result of R1 plus R2 we want to store in R3 register. For this one, what we are doing is, you can see we are sending from R1, we are sending the data. How we are sending? By making R1 out to 1. So when we make out signal to 1, data flows from R1 to the Y register. So in order to receive data by Y, we are making Yin into 1. We are setting this signal Yin into 1 so that it can take input. In for input, out for output. So it takes whatever data from R1 register we get, it is taken as an input to the Y. Okay. Similarly, R2 register also data we will take. How do we take? With R2 out signal. The second statement you can see R2 out. So the data with R2 out making 1, the data flows to the internal processor bus and it is transferred to B. And here we have a data from Y, which is from register R1, indirectly from R1. So register Y and constant 4. Out of these two, it need to select one. What it will select? The command is select Y. You need to select only the Y, the one from R1 register that is placed here. So the content from register R1 is placed here. Contents of register R2 are placed here. So both are need to be added with the add A plus B. And they are sent to Z. For this one, we are making Z in so that Z can receive input, the result of R1 and R2 addition. And finally, to send Z to register R3, we are saying we are making it Z out to 1, and in order to when we send the data from Z, it need to be received by R3. For receiving, we are saying R3, we are making R3 in signal to 1 so that R3 can receive the sum of R1 plus R2. Done. Okay. I will give this video also so that you can once again play. If you have any doubts, you can be more clear. Right. So same explanation. Step 1, what happened? Step 2, step 3, the same explanation what I had given you. How addition happens. All this you can see. Finally, the contents of register Z are transferred to destination register R3. That is, Z contains the sum of R1 and R2. That addition is transferred to R3. This is nothing. Done. Okay. So what we are seeing here, addition of R1 and R2 register and storing in R3. So here arithmetic logic unit is involved. Next is how do we fetch a word from the memory? How for example, processor needs some value of an operand like A. How it fetches data from main memory? How a processor fetches data from main memory? So this is the scenario. Okay, so you can see this MDR, because actually whatever data we fetch from main memory, it is stored in MDR. Whatever data we read from main memory, the processor reads from main memory, it is stored in MDR. So these are the connections of MDR. You can see MDR, we have MDR connected to main memory to this connections we call as memory bus data lines. Through these connections, MDR is connected to main memory. Maybe main memory here we have through this bus, it is connected to MDR, and also MDR is connected to the processor with this internal processor bus. So at one side it is connected to internal processor bus, other side it is connected to memory, that is to the memory with the help of this bus, memory bus. Here it is connected to the processor and here it is connected to the memory part, MDR. Because from the processor, processor sends the read signal and data is fetched from main memory and it is stored in MDR. So here you can see to connect to this one, it has MDR in E, because we call this one as external bus. This is the external bus. This is the internal bus. So that's why we have MDR in external, MDR out external for these two. So MDR, we have MDR in E and MDR out E. And MDR connected to this one, we have, you can see MDR in internal and MDR out internal. So it is not represented with I symbol. By default, we say as it's internal, connected to internal processors. So MDR in, MDR out, and also this one. So you can see when the MDR in signal is 1, what happens? Data flows from internal bus to MDR. When this one is made to 1, MDR out is made to 1, data can flow from MDR to this internal processor bus. This is the meaning. Similarly, if MDR in E is made to 1, if this is set to 1, data flows in this way. How I am saying data flows from which direction to which direction? You can see, you can observe the arrow direction. From that you can say how data flows. When this is set to 1, data flows from here to here, because you can see the arrow is in this way. Similarly, when this is made to 1, data flows from MDR to this bus. Okay. So you can see what are the steps so that data can be fetched from main memory to the processor. So processor wants some operand value, how it fetches. So these are a few steps how data is fetched from main memory to the processor. So to fetch a word of information from the memory, that is when we say memory, it is a main memory, or we can say the primary memory or RAM, the green color module. I'm talking about. So when we want to fetch a word, so data can be fetched word by word. To fetch a word of information from the main memory, the processor transfers the required address to MAR. So to fetch a word from main memory, what processor will do is first it will transfer address from where it want to retrieve data. That is the address in main memory. That address it will keep in MAR because it is a memory address register. So when processor want to retrieve a data from a particular location in main memory, the processor keeps the address in MAR. So processor keeps the address of the main memory location here in MAR. And at the same time, processor uses control lines of memory bus. So it uses the control lines of memory bus. So these are the control lines. So processor uses these control lines to indicate a read operation from main memory. Okay, so what processor will do? First step is if processor want to read some value from main memory, for example, operand A value, it knows the address, processor knows the address. That address of main memory, A's address in main memory, it keeps here in MAR because it's address register. And also it enables the read control signal. Enables read control signal. Processor will enable read control signal. Then what happens? Now main memory will send the data, the operand value, A value, maybe 5. That 5 is copied into MDR register. That is the third statement. MDR register. Okay. So how it is done? You can see this one. These are the instruction. R1 out, MAR run and read. R1 out. That is so you can see this is one instruction. moving contents of R1 to R2. Contents of R1 to R2 register. So these are the instructions we have. So R1 out, first register, that is sending first register R signal is R1 out is made into 1. That is first register R1 data flows to the bus. Next, address is kept in MAR. So MAR in, address is kept in MAR. Next it says read signal, control signal enabled is read. Okay, so whatever data passed, just now we had discussed whatever data passed, so that data is stored in MDR by making this signal in signal to 1. So it receives data, MDR receives data. Okay, so processor will, what happens is processor will keep the address here, make the read signal enabled, and processor will be waiting for some data. Processor will keep the address here, make the read signal 1, and processor will be waiting for some data to receive some data. So while waiting for data, the processor, it may take one clock cycle, one CPU clock cycle, or maybe there may be some delay also. Okay, so for how much time this processor must wait to receive that data into MDR? So to complete the data transfer from main memory to the MDR, the completion of this transfer is indicated by this signal WMFC. So this signal tells something like alarm saying that okay, processor, the data from main memory is transferred to MDR part. Now you can use the data from MDR. So this one is specified by this signal. This signal we call as memory function completed signal. This is a control signal used for this purpose. We call it as memory function completed signal. So when this one is okay, done. MDR will receive that value. MDR will receive the value from main memory. Maybe it is transferred to R2 in R2 register. Okay. So let me repeat once again. Here we are fetching a word from, what is the time now? So it's already 1. Okay, this one we'll discuss in the next class. But one thing I want to do is this instruction, what it is doing is moving contents of R1. What does it mean when we say bracket? What addressing mode is this one? R1 within addressing brackets, we call this one as indirect register mode. So actually, what is indirect register mode? R1 contains address, not direct value. R1 contains some address. When we refer that address in the main memory, we get actual value. If you remember the indirect register mode, actually this in brackets, when we represent R1, it's indirect register mode. If you remember what it does, this R1 contains, when we go to R1 register, it contains some address. We take that address and we will go to the main memory and we will get, there we will have the operand value. So that's why what we are doing here, we are making R1 out and we are taking address from R1. We are storing that address in MAR because it is an address register by making it the signal in. And next to the control signal, we are making read so that main memory can, from main memory data can be read. Okay, address is provided here and read signal is given. Address is stored here and read signal is sent. Okay, so whatever data sent from main memory, it is stored in MDR by making in signal enable. Okay, so the MDR received the input, right, data from main memory. Now completion is indicated by the transfer of data from main memory to processor MDR register is completion indicated by the transfer indicated by this signal, control signal. We call it as memory function completed signal. Okay, so from data now exists in MDR, which we got from main memory. Now we need to send from MDR to the R2 register. So how do we make it? We make it the out signal and then data flows to R2 register. Okay, so in simple terms, we are from R1 we are taking the address going to main memory. From their address in the main memory we are taking actual value at that address, and we are taking that value and we are storing in R2. Okay, so I want you to go through these theory part once because it may be a little confusing to you. Anyhow, I will try to explain this part once again in the next class, fetching a word from main memory. Okay, so we will end here and we will go with the attendance part. Let me note the attendance once. So I want you to try to understand how the control signals work, the R in, R out, MDR in, MDR out, and so on. So let me note. The count is 62. Okay, done. I think everyone is present. I guess 61, 62. 61, 62, 61, 68, 70, 71, 72. Yeah, everyone is present, all present. And I request all of you to utilize the evening class 7 to 8 so that you can study until 7. And if you have any doubts, you can log in, just clarify your doubts and you can log out. No need to wait for entire session. If you are done with the 5 minutes, you can log out or you can stay, your wish. Okay, I want everybody to utilize. Okay, thanks, Amma. If possible, I will repeat this last concept in the next class. Okay, you can exit now.